But moving on to our baleen whale representative, the humpback whale. So they're very different in appearance to the orca. First off, they're grey. They're not that black and white color, and they are much larger. So they were the largest whale that we would see on our whale watching trips. And they can be up to about 16 meters long, so about double that of a male killer whale. So really pretty big. They have very, very interesting fins on the side of their body. You can see these white structures hanging off the side of the whale. These are its pectoral fins. So the full length of a humpback whale, say it's about 15 meters long. These pectoral fins are said to be about the third of a humpback whale's total body length. So this pectoral fin could be up to about 5 meters long, which is really, really big. And it's one of the reasons why this animal has got the nickname Angel of the Sea, because it's said to look very graceful when swimming under the water. Another really notable characteristic of the humpback whale is its fluke, or its tail. If you're ever whale watching and you see a humpback whale, you'll probably see its tail. Because it flicks its tail out of the water to help it dive. The tail will then splash down on the water and help propel the whale down further in the water. So it's a bit like, imagine you have flippers on and you're in the swimming pool. You'll kick your flippers down to get deeper into the swimming pool, and that's just what the humpback whale is using its tail for. Another really notable feature of the humpback whale are these lines that are going down its throat. These are called throat grooves, and these help the humpback whale to expand its chest. So they're baleen whales. They want to suck in the water, suck in the water and then push it back out. They're filtering it. So the bigger they can expand their chest, the more water they can take in to filter it out. Which is really handy. And last feature I'm going to point out are these little dots, kind of quite warty looking. You can see on the top of the humpback whale's head. And these are called tubercles. And they are actually hair follicles. So there's little hairs that come out of these dots. And the humpback whale uses these hairs to sense vibrations in the water so that they can hunt. So these tubercles are actually linked back 50,000 years to when the animal that evolved into whales came from land. So believe it or not, an ancestor of the whale was four-legged and hoofed, and it eventually made its way into the water. 50 million years ago, we get your humpback whale. And these little dots, these hair follicles, are just a nod, a reminder that they did come from land animals. So social structure compared to orca, they are typically solitary. They like their own space. Although this photo here, you can see 3 in a row, they can be found on occasion in small groups if they're all utilizing the same good food source. Mum and calves, they do travel together. So if you see 2 humpback whales and one is considerably bigger than the other, you probably have a mum and calf pairing. Their diet, so they are filtering out that water, remember with their baleen plates, they'll be actually filtering the water for really small animals. So one of them is krill, it's a shrimp-like invertebrate, and also small shoaling fish. So they don't actually eat that big prey items, they go for the smaller animals, which means they do have to eat a lot. They eat up to about 1,000 pounds worth of food per day. Now this is one of my favorite photos. This is a sea lion getting swept up into a humpback whale's mouth. Now, this happened by accident. The humpback whale is not meaning to eat the sea lion, but the sea lion was probably going for the same food source as the humpback whale, be that small shoaling fish. And as the humpback is taking a big gulp of water, he is sucked in the sea lion as well. But luckily for the sea lion, it will not be eaten by the humpback whale. Humpback whales actually have very narrow throats. They can only swallow a prey item as big as an apple, so they would struggle to get that sea lion down, and it was just spat right back out into the water. And that can happen with other animals as well, seals who may be going for the same fish, or seabirds, but they would just be spat out too. But it's a pretty amazing photo that was taken, I think, off the coast of California last summer. So humpback whales are a migratory species of whale. That means they spend summer and winter in different locations. So I was off the west coast of Canada in summer, and this is the humpback whale's feeding ground. This is their summer home. And their summer objective is just to eat. So for 6 to 7 months, humpback whales just eat and eat and eat as much as possible in these cooler and more productive waters. And then, luckily for them, they go and seek some winter sunshine, either going to Hawaii or Mexico. And that is where they have their babies, or they breed in the winter time. So that's the general migratory pattern of the humpback whale. So these are the whale flukes, the tails that I was telling you about. And you can see they're all different here. A humpback whale's tail, the underside can be all white, it can be all black, it can be different percentages of the two. They can have unique scars and tears in their tails, just like us humans. We have different unique features. And that just acts like a whale's fingerprint. So you can actually ID a specific humpback whale if you get a good enough photo of the underside of their tail. And this can be really handy in telling where they're going in their summer migration. So as an example, this is an amazing website called happywhale.com, where you can upload your photos of the underside of a whale tail. It will cross-reference them and match them to a specific whale. So this whale is called Big Mama. She was spotted off the west coast of Canada many, many times. She's quite famous in those parts. So that is her summer feeding ground. And then she heads down to Hawaii for her winter breeding grounds. And we now know that simply through photos. So it's non-invasive for the whales. We don't have to dart them with GPS trackers or invade their privacy in any way. Simply take a photo. They don't know it's been taken, and that can help researchers know where these whales are going. And just to show you the contrast, this is another whale called Valiant. Valiant again uses Canada as its summer feeding grounds, but it doesn't go to Hawaii. No, Valiant prefers its winter sunshine in Mexico. So again, we're getting a lot from these photo IDs. So just to round up, what can we do to protect these amazing animals for years to come? First off, just every little helps, starting with simple things, just by reducing our waste. Cutting down on single-use plastics and using reusables. So for example, coffee cups, by taking your own coffee cup to get your hot chocolate from the cafe, really helps just cut down waste that could potentially end up in the ocean and harm these animals. Abide by local marine mammal regulations. So each country across the globe will have different laws on how close you can get to these animals if you're out in a boat and you see them, and different regulations to abide by. So before you go out boating, Always look up the local marine mammal regulations and make sure you abide by them. Avoid boat strikes. If you're driving your boat, it sounds obvious, but try and go slow around these animals and don't hit them. Boat strikes are actually one of the highest causes of fatalities of whales, so be mindful of that. Reducing entanglement of fishing gear as well. Fishing gear does get stuck around the whales and it does cause fatalities. So if you're fishing, make sure your gear doesn't go in the water. And also if you're going for a walk along the beach and you see fishing gear and it's safe and you've got gloves, it's a good idea to pick it up and dispose of it so it doesn't get washed back out into the ocean. And just by being more environmentally friendly. So the cleaner our oceans are, the happier the whales are going to be. So that is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, hopefully you can get in touch and let us know, and I'll do my best to get back to you. But thank you very much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.